All right, y'all. Welcome back to Rants with Ren. I'm your host, Renata. And today with me here, I have Brian Martinez. Brian, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to the
You're
show.
welcome. I'm happy to be here to the first in-person episode.
Yes, this may actually make it to YouTube. So, hi to the folks on the internet. Absolutely. It's an honor to have you as my first in person guest. So, thank you again. Um, And we talked a little bit about title. I know you're up to a lot of different things. So if you would introduce yourself and kind of tell the folks a little bit about what you do.
Professionally, I'm an entrepreneur and investor. I do a lot of performance coaching these days. So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs that are trying to get to the next level, whether that's the next fundraising round or they want their business to grow. And so I do a ton of performance coaching right now. Where we know each other from is the transformational space, where I'll run these 3-day trainings, which really is about performance. Where's the team at, and how do I get a team to move into a state of performance? But it does sell it short. Like, how could you put a label on it? It's a level of intensity that really has you look at why you don't have what you want in your life, right? Once you let go of all the excuses and the reasons that we come up with, if it's just you with you, why don't you have it, right? And I think that's why it works, because we make people pause and look.
Yeah, I love that. I do transformational coaching myself outside of the organization that we work with. And using that title is very confusing to people that are not in the work. And so I find myself, I'll lead with, oh, I'm transformational coach. And then you kind of get that look like, okay. And then I'm like life coach, dating coach, these other things, these umbrella terms, because it is such a blanket statement. For the section that you facilitate, it is very performance based, but there's also so many other elements to it around like emotional intelligence, right? Healing and a bunch of other things.
It's all of that. It's experiential also. I mean, we'll coach whatever comes up, right? So there could be relationship stuff comes up, business stuff comes up, racial things come up, cultural things come up, right? So I think as a coach or a trainer at that level, you get to be able to meet all of it. But I just think that the word transformational doesn't mean anything to anybody, right? And how hard is it? Let me ask you, like, how hard is it for someone to go online and say they're a transformational coach?
Not hard at all.
Not hard at all.
Very low barrier of entry.
Not hard at all. And I never labeled myself. I was a coach for years, paid coach professionally, before I ever labeled myself as one. I think it annoyed me how easily people could label themselves as one, start taking on clients and not know what they're doing. For me, being trained up in it for almost a decade, right? Even for me, I felt a certain heaviness to it. I felt like that was something that I had to earn by the results I drove in my life. I didn't even want to call myself a coach until I felt like, for me, I want to be able to, at any given time, if you lift up the hood of any aspect of my life, my relationship, my finances, my personal career, how I am with my friendships, that when you open up that hood, you can tell I've done a lot of work there. And until I get to that point, who am I to say I'm a coach, right? And I think, and then transformational also, it's kind of, you do transform relationships to people in relationships, but sometimes when I say I'm a transformational coach, the power in the transformation is not from anything that I do or I say.
Right.
Of
course.
So it is interesting. I mean, how did you, when you decided on accepting the label, like, did you have any back and forth discussion about it in your head?
Of course. Imposter syndrome is always present, right? So, yeah. And I think that's why I really like what you're saying about feeling like there was a gravity. You said it held a lot of weight. Like that title means a lot, right? We think of, for me, right, I think of people like yourself, of Krista, of course, right? People in that space who have been in this work for so long. So yes, calling myself that out of the gate did feel a little, am I qualified? But the thing that you just said that also landed is yes, because as a coach, it's my job to facilitate their own transformation and their own growth, but they're really the ones doing it. So yeah, the term does, that specific word, because of the work that we do, it does feel there's a heaviness, there's a weight to it. It's like a massive responsibility. And so I still dance with it sometimes. I don't have it on my Instagram. I talk to people about it. And again, I think that's because I think the word's a little vague and some people see it. So I actually put self-growth,
Mm-hmm.
dating, and sex are like
Mm-hmm.
the topics that I cover. But when I have real connections and real conversations with people,
Mm-hmm.
how you do one thing's how you do everything. So they may come to me because they want to have a more fulfilling dating life, or they're dealing with some self-worth stuff. And I'm like, great, we'll talk about that, but also you're going to transform your life because we're going to look at everything.
Oh, you will. You will. I think it's what they get out of it. It's just a hard label, right?
Yeah.
I get the ick. I get the ick when I see it.
The truth comes out.
100%. I don't think I know any of my mentors. I don't know if any of my mentors use it.
You wouldn't call Krista Petty a transformational coach?
I might call her that. I don't know if she uses that title.
Oh, I see.
I don't know if she would call herself that.
What do you think she would
I
call
think she
herself?
might call herself she might call herself a personal development trainer. She might call herself a life coach. She might call herself a performance coach. I don't know if she would even label herself as that. I mean, I should probably go check her Instagram, right? Actually, her Instagram is a horrible place to check. You should check her website or somewhere else where she's actually active.
Right.
But I don't know if any of my mentors, and I think the mentors that I have a real sense of humility and gravity of the work that they do.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are really big on social media.
Yeah.
They're not Tony Robbins-esque. They're not Gary Vee-esque. They're not carrying that gravitas to them of, look at me. There's not like a see me, I'm the one doing the work for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, like, Krista would never take a training and label it as like the Krista Petty training, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not making Tony Robbins or anybody like that wrong for it, but I don't think she would label it as that. It is interesting. Now, if you're a dating coach or you specifically work with relationships, I could see you saying, I want to label myself in order to define my clients.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it always feels a little limiting.
Yeah.
So when you texted me on the way here and you asked me the label, I was interesting. I don't really label it.
Yeah.
But if I had, I like the performance and the accountability aspect of coaching.
Yeah.
So what I say when clients come over, I will coach you, but you have to be up to something big.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be, because the level that I'm going to press you at, if you're not ready to go swing and fail and swing and fail, it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
That is transformational at the end of the day.
But performance does feel way more fitting there. Like knowing who you are and your personality.
Yeah.
Like the word to me, as you're saying this, what's coming up for me is like the attachment to the word actually isn't as important, because you're right. They're going to transform either way, right? Like the nature of the work is that you will transform no matter what angle we take.
Mm-hmm.
Every person is different. The people that go to you are seeking you. The people that come to me are seeking me. The people who go to Krista, right? Like, of course, right? Each individual that experience personalities, all of the different things. But there's something about life coach. It's not resonating in my body.
That gives you an ick?
Yeah. Like,
for you, or when other people use
it doesn't bother me at all when other people say it, right? It's quite literally what I am. That's what my certificate is in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And saying it and be like, oh, what do you do? That's actually the word that is harder for me to say. Like, it's easier for me to say, oh, I work in transformation, or I do dating and personal development coaching, than it is for me to say life coaching, because before that person's had an opportunity to meet and understand the gravity, like how seriously I take this, because it's like when you meet a personal trainer. I've met personal trainers. I love this analogy because I've worked that's where I started coaching, right? Since I was 19 years old. And I've met personal trainers who took a NASM test online, couldn't have cared less. I watched them train in the gym and I'm like cringing, my eyes twitching, and I'm about to go up and be like, hey, can you actually, they're not engaging their lats. Do you want to help them do that properly? And they're just like 10, 9, right? They don't care. I've also met personal trainers who understand the body better than like exercise science master's degree people that I know, right? Better than PTs that I've gone to. And because they care so much, and they also have the same cert and they have the same title, but they've helped me transform my body, heal my body in ways that, so it's wild to me that so many different kinds of humans can be under the same title. And that's why life coach sometimes makes me like, oh, I don't want to call myself that.
then don't. I mean, here, we can call ourselves whatever we want to. Label, it's a great transition into the work that you do because we label things. I think sometimes we try to label them to understand them. I think oftentimes we label them to box people in. Oftentimes these labels can feel like a leveling of, right? So, for example, in like the alternate relationship space, there's a bunch of different labels, right? Some people consider themselves E&M, some consider themselves swingers, some consider themselves poly, right? And sometimes it can feel like, hey, if you are open, the goal is to get to poly, right? Like that's the highest level of transformation in the open relationship space. And we hold all these labels. It's weird because when you're monogamous, it's just like, hey, monogamous, vanilla. Once you step outside of it, how many labels are there available to you? There's so many. And I think it gets confusing. And then where it becomes dangerous is when people really start to identify it as one, right? Like, I am this. Yeah. And there's no flexibility there anymore. And the whole purpose was for flexibility and exploration in the first place. So anyway, I think that we can choose whatever we want. You can adjust it. It can be one thing with one person with another, someone else. Yeah. There probably are relationships in which you are a transformational coach. There's probably relationships or partnerships you have where you focus mostly on relationship. Yep. 100%. That's fine. Yeah. I think that technology's kind of limited us. Like, what are you going to put on your business card? What are you going to put on your LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, or in the Instagram space, like you must be niched. If you're not niche, and I'm like, F that, I don't do it. And I'm, as per usual, paving my own way and seeing how it works. So, but I love the transition of you bringing up the relationship stuff. The first couple episodes I've done on this podcast are around unique relationship dynamics. It's something that my audience, I think, really enjoys. And by my audience, I mean human beings, because there's just so much out there that people haven't explored or are curious about. So I know that you are yourself in a unique relationship dynamic, and I would love to get into that and hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, you know, things you don't know about me in this space. So
great, yes.
So my relationship structure is different from most. I am in an open relationship. That was by design. That's something I sought out, something I decided on, something I dated for intentionally, which we can get into. I think beyond that, I'm an entrepreneur. And so when I got into the space, I noticed how bad the technology in the space was. And so I spent 3 years building a platform in the space that had tens of thousands of users on it. And then I started a podcast around it that got us to 80 episodes and like 50,000 followers across platforms. Like there's a lot. I know a lot about the space. Okay. I don't speak about it as much, or I don't speak about my own, like what I do with my wife necessarily. Sure. But I love talking about the dynamics in the space, and what it takes to get a relationship like this, and then to maintain one without blowing it up. Yeah. Without blowing it up. So I can go on any aspect there, but I would say if I had to put a label to it, I would just say it was open. I think that my wife and I move in and out of it. Also, there will be times when we might go 3 months and it's just us. Yeah. Right. And then all of a sudden when we have space, and that's actually where I've been at this year, when I'm really, really focused on some goals that I want to accomplish to perform at, I don't have time for it. And we really lock in on us and what we're trying to build and what we're trying to accomplish. And that almost feels like the reward for the hard work. And then we'll have these moments where we're kind of, all right, we got some stuff done, we can celebrate, where all of a sudden we'll like open it up a little bit. I kind of think of it in my mind, it's like an accordion format. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I actually just had a very interesting conversation with a guy friend yesterday, and I do you mind if I pivot and ask a question based off something you just said? Well, we're going to pin, because I do want to hear more about the dynamic, but you just said, when I'm really focused on something, I actually like don't have time, right? Basically for dating, right? Is what I hear. I was having a conversation with a guy friend yesterday, and he said, men's sole purpose is to go after what they want, Renata. He's like, so they're always going to be wanting, basically, am I allowed to say, going after pussy, essentially, right? And I said to him, that might be your reality in your world. And maybe I'm delusional here, and this is what I'm curious to know. But I said, in the space that I'm in with people who are up to really big shit, I'm like, when a man has a vision so much greater than himself, whether that's going after his purpose, whether that is going after building a family and a wife and like that version of his life, I do believe that obviously everyone has needs and they still want to fuck or whatever that looks like. But I do believe that that actually becomes the thing. Like when your vision is bigger than you, you're not focused on chasing that, like dating or sex or whatever. Do you agree with that?
Would you say the same thing for a woman?
I don't think women are driven by the same desire to like go after what they want in regards to like sex. His point was that like men are going to go after pussy because it's what they want to chase down.
Have you ever met any women that go after it that way?
Very few. Like related to drinking and drugs sometimes, yeah, but not in the sense of like lying and manipulating to get what they need.
Oh, so you mean like an unhealthy approach to it? Okay. I would say I've seen it. It doesn't look the same. I think about it less of as a men do this or women can't do this, that the unhealthy masculine energy that people can bring to it, masculine energy or like the alpha energy or whatever the red pill guys want to say. If any of them are listening, they're probably not. Very cutting, very directional.
This is a females podcast, so they're not listening.
They should do some research, guys. It's masculine energy is very cutting, very directional. Yeah. I want to accomplish this goal. And when it gets unhealthy, it becomes like horse with blinders on. I can't see anything else. I'm just focused on this.
Right.
Okay. I think anybody can bring that. When your masculine energy becomes unhealthy, right? We can put our blinders on. So it might show up for men, like I want to go sleep with people. I will sleep with as many people as I can. And that becomes a focus. Women can bring it too. Like I want this relationship and it has to be this way. And I'll ignore anything else in the process. I think we can all bring this like alpha energy to it. Women bring it up in the workplace too. Like I know women that are killers in the workplace.
Right? To be clear, so, I solely meant like chasing after sex.
I hear you.
Because I've had that sensation even when I went through Atlas. Like decentering relationships because my vision became so fucking big and so important to me, nothing else mattered. I
hear you.
And it was incredible.
But I'm saying a woman can say, I have a vision for, I want to be with a rich guy. So, and I use sex as my tool. And now I directionally point my vagina into situations to get me what I want.
Yeah.
And it's an unhealthy side for that too. So I think I hear what you're saying. I'm just kind of course correcting because what I've found to be true is it's less about men do it and women don't. And that's something I'm personally just trying to blow up if I'm on a show.
Yeah.
Where we label men as the reason why dating apps suck. It's 50-50. It must be.
It must be.
It must be. If patriarchy exists, both genders must benefit.
Are participating? Yeah. Yeah.
Participating and benefiting.
Yeah, I don't think that men are the reason dating apps suck. I think men could use some help, in general.
I think we could all use support in it.
It's correct.
100%.
It's not men. It's the dopamine and the gamifying of it. But that's a whole other hour worth of conversation. So, okay, heard. So no polarizing conversation around.
But I do want to say this. But when I got focused on what I wanted, I didn't go at it like it's got to be this thing. There wasn't an unhealthy approach to I want an open relationship and it has to look this way.
Okay. Yeah. So my other question for the pinned conversation, if you're comfortable talking about it, if not, let me know. What does that look like specifically for you guys? Is that like you have people that you date, like you're married and then you date, or is it like, yeah, is that the structure?
No, my wife and I do stuff together, and that became clear for me. So before I met my wife, I had experiences in this country, outside this country, where over time, being in relationships that didn't work out, where I felt myself being pulled in different directions, it just became more clear to me that I was not a straight monogamous person, which makes sense. Nowhere in my life do I do the norm thing, right? So it tracks.
Yeah.
But I also felt like I just said, when I'm really focused on stuff, I just don't have the time for it. So what is it going to look like for me? When I had experiences with partners, I always felt closer to the person, when we did stuff together. When I did stuff separately, it always felt a little bit like it took away from the relationship for me. It's not like that way for everybody, but that's how I felt for me.
Right.
And so I realized I wanted a relationship where we explore things together and where anything could be put on the table and there wouldn't be judgment.
Yeah.
We'd be willing to at least have the conversation, give it a try. And what's included in that has evolved over time. We've tried some things and been like, no, that's not it. That's not the one. Yep. But I would say it's evolved past where I thought it was going to be, for sure, because we've been open. But I would say 99.9% of the time we're doing stuff together. Occasionally there's been a pass here or there. If my wife is on the show, which she would never be, it's like she would say, when we do make exceptions, it's for the plot. If the narrative fits and it's kind of a fun story, then maybe we'll do something. Otherwise, like, we just do stuff. That's my partner. I was clear I wanted someone that I could explore the world with, and this was just one aspect of it. This was one way that it would come, to fruition.
I love that so much. That's exactly what I explain to people that I'm looking for, right? And I love that you said, I didn't just go straight for this thing that was perfectly defined, right? It was, I had an idea of what wasn't working and an idea, it sounds like, of what you were seeking, and then found it, and then it continued to expand. The thing that stands out to me in that, like the thing under the thing that I hear, is openness to exploration of life. And that is the thing that I like. Same thing. I want to explore the world and everything that it has to offer. And so I think something that would be really interesting to know is how you did that. Like, what was the blueprint or the map for you to, I believe that the universe gives us what we are looking for, but how did you build that bridge to get there?
Well, you want me to be honest with them?
I do.
Okay. I think most people don't have what they want because they don't know what they want, first and foremost.
Absolutely.
Get really specific on what it is. And it's less about what you want in a person, it's what you want in a relationship. And then because we can all say, like, I want someone who is athletic. I don't know, give me a label. I want someone who is...
Are we using stereotypical ones or the ones that I actually like? Character is the highest thing for me, like deep loyalty. Okay.
Are you a deeply loyal person?
Absolutely.
Great. So you want a relationship that has character and where loyalty is a value. And now you can measure yourself up against loyalty. But when I meet most people, this is part of why I don't love doing relationship coaching. When I meet most people in a relationship, it's like, I want someone who is funny. I want someone who is, give me something.
Yeah, 6 foot.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you want someone, it's rarely 6 foot.
I'm not saying it has to be that. I'm not saying it has to be that.
I want someone who is 6'4", funny,
intelligent, deeply emotionally intelligent, also, right? Empathetic, a great conversationalist.
Okay.
Funny is important.
For some people. True. For some people, I think what you want, but why would you want someone who's funny?
Okay, I'll tell you exactly why.
What do you want in the relationship?
Joy.
Laughter. Okay. Joy and laughter in the relationship. So you want a relationship that is full of joy. Fun. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, then I can meet you as a client and say, are you fun?
Yes.
I think you are.
I'm fun,
but some people are not. Some people are not. So then if I say I want someone who's fun and you're not fun and you go out with a fun person, they're not going to want to date you. And so I always challenge.
And then you don't want to coach someone on how to be fun? Is that what you're telling me?
Once they realize that they have to be fun, like, what I'm saying is, I got clear on what I wanted in a relationship, and then I went and started living like I had that relationship already. Right? I wasn't looking for what I felt I was lacking. And I think that was a big difference, right? So one, I had to get really clear. And then I went and got in some relationships where I would say, hey, I'm open, or I want a non-traditional relationship. And that means different things to different people. Like, oftentimes people, I'll tell you what the truth was for me. Oftentimes people either felt like, hey, that's something we'll do when we're 10 years in and it's not working anymore, to spice things up, right? Also, they might feel like it's something we do occasionally. I think for some people, it's a core to who they are. It's actually part of how they have fun. And it's fun for them. It's how they explore. And so it was important for me to realize like that's actually part of who I am at my core. Right. It's not something to do.
It's not like a special occasion threesome type of deal.
Exactly. And then once I realized that, I had to realize that people were willing to get into a relationship with me and give it a shot just because they wanted to be with me. And it wasn't who they were. And it's kind of like the doingness of fun versus I'm not a fun person. I think it's okay not to be a fun person, you guys. Like some people just aren't.
I'll use that as the Instagram clip. It's okay to be boring.
It's okay.
It's not okay to be boring.
Just if you are a more like your level of fun might look boring to me, but it's got to be interesting to you. Okay, Dungeons and Dragons is boring to me. But if you meet someone who loves Dungeons and Dragons, it will be your type of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's so subjective. Oh my God. Someone that I went on a couple of dates with and then we ended up just being friends. He's now in a relationship and I found out because he went to some like Comic-Con style thing, fully dressed up with the girl. And I was just like full caps, like, please tell me this is your hot, awesome girlfriend. They're just totally both decked out and they've got lightsabers and they're like posing with the people that are signing. And I'm like, oh my God, please. And he's like, yes, this is her.
That's her.
And I'm like, dude, hell fucking yeah. Live your best life.
There's someone out there for everybody. You just get to be willing to be your fullest expression of yourself and then see who shows up. See who shows up. It's not going to be... That's like for guys, it's a huge mistake we make. Most of us should not be at bars trying to pick up girls. If I was 6'4", even for me, I feel short at bars. I'm 6 feet tall. I feel short at bars.
Really?
As I was single, I found out I did better at places where they were dancing because I'm a great dancer. And that's where I stand out. At a lounge where it's just about talking, right? Then it's about like appearance and height, and I'm not as good. And so I had to like kind of pick. If I was under 5'10", 5'9", I feel like I'd have a really hard time at a bar. And so I would go places where I feel like I could excel and then kind of where I'm really into stuff and see who shows up for sure. But anyway, let me go back. Once I got clear on it, then when I went on dates, I got to this point, I had to ask myself, am I really, really committed to find a relationship like this? If so, then why am I wasting time with people who are not the thing that I said that I want?
Yeah.
And so first date, within the first hour, I would bring it up. This is the kind of relationship I want. This is who I am. I would explain it, and then I would pause and say, what are you hearing me say?
Not you hit them with the what are you hearing me
on
say?
The date. You know why? Because that's what it means to be in a relationship with me.
Absolutely. It's perfect. Okay, go on.
Why would I not be authentic? That is what it means to be in a relationship with me.
It's just such a coaching question.
It is.
What are you hearing?
But why am I asking?
Because you need to know. And I know you said not to say like men do this and women do this, but I hear you like about women. I do believe as a woman, we are more likely to try to fit inside of a box because, he has all the things that I'm looking for.
Right.
This one thing, like maybe I can also do that. I found myself doing it the other day with somebody who wants kids. And
right.
Anyway.
We can all do it. We meet someone or like, man, they have 10 of the 12 things I want. Yep. And there's this one thing. So let me just conform and like, oh my God, this is it. This is the moment. Hollywood's fucked us all up, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's such a big thing because that's not just a thing. That's not like, here's what I do for work. That's like, this is an integral part of who I am and my being.
Right.
And if someone's not aligned with that, like I think, what is the word? Is it compersion? The word that like you get pleasure from knowing that she's getting pleasure from someone else. It's like the opposite of jealousy.
Right.
And not everyone embodies that, right? If you don't have that, like it's not going to
It's so funny. I didn't know whether I would have it or not getting into it. Even at this point, I knew this is who I was. I didn't know how that piece was going to go.
Oh, you were like, it's good for me. I'll see how it is when
No. I mean, it was good with a woman. I didn't know how, like, with third woman, how's it gonna feel when the third is a guy, right? There's a lot of dynamics.
That's what
to
I'm
this.
saying,
Yeah.
right? Like, exactly. You're like, oh yeah, this is fun for me, but what about when it's fun for my wife?
But you know what's funny for me? It never for me felt like I was having more fun than my partner. It felt like we were having fun. We can put a pin in that.
Sure.
I'll come back to that.
Okay, great.
The reason I asked, what are you hearing me say? And I'm gonna take something from my coach here, and this might go over people's heads. Let's take a risk. Let's play with it right now.
Absolutely.
Okay. She would say the reason why it's important to check in is because people are already always listening. They're already always listening. And it means this. When I come face to face with someone, they're already listening to whatever I have to say or whatever's going on around them from their frame of how they see the world.
Yeah.
Their story, what they've been through, the religion they grew up in, like the movies they watched when they grew up, they listen through that context, right? And so I'm saying the same thing consistently. When I asked them, what are you hearing me say? What I heard back was them telling me the context that they live from.
Of course.
It was them telling me what they felt they heard, because they can only hear what they can see. And we're already judging people all the time. We're already deciding all the time. You hear what I'm saying?
Of course.
And so when I paused, I wanted to know what was landing. And I got all sorts of responses back. I got a drink thrown in my face. I had a girl get up and walk away once. She was like, hey, why don't you give me a call when you're done being a boy and you want to turn into a man? And it was so much. But it was great news. This isn't my person. Yeah. Let's keep going. They're out there. But I just committed. Hey, if this is what I really want, then let me go get it. And that's where that kind of like focus came in. I don't feel like it was unhealthy. I felt like I was doing them a service too. Why would I go out on 3 dates with them and 100%. Then drop it on them?
100%. This is something I feel, first of all, I really like that approach. I was more just giving you a hard time for the phrasing because you know how it is in coaching. People are always like, are you coaching me right now, Renata? I'm like, sorry, let me dial it back. But the approach itself it's really important. And I talk to a lot of my clients about this, about exactly what you said. People are not always clear. A ton of people are not clear. This is how we end up with a whole generation of people who got married to someone that they don't even really like.
Right.
Because it was just like, oh, this is just what you do. You meet the person, you date them, you marry them, you have children, and now here we are 20 years later. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, get crystal clear on it. And instead of thinking about the outcome of like, oh, well, if I play this narrative, I'll be more likely to get this girl, or I'll be more likely, because 80% of my clients right now are men, so just going to speak in that context, or I'll be more likely to be able to like actually sleep with her if she sees this version of me. And I'm like, yeah, what about you? Like, what about you, what you actually want? Because if you date her for a few weeks or you sleep with her like a couple times, like, great, but we've gotten really clear that you actually want a lifelong committed relationship. Right. So why don't you lead with who you really are and what you really want? And several of them, I work through an app called Field. I've met a lot of people through that app. And there's also a lot of elements of kink on there. And so several of my clients have elements of interest of kink or BDSM or whatever it is for them. And there's a lot of shame around bringing that up. And they seem to believe these camps are separate. I can either find someone to dom me, or like someone to be my sub, whatever their thing is that they're into. Or I can go on Bumble or Hinge and find someone that's worth dating, that's a wife material and have kids. And I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. Like, what are you talking about? Like, do you not believe you can have both? No, I don't think so. And my goal with them is breaking that. And this is why I love this conversation, because you can have it all. I do believe that you can have it all. It might take longer, but if you're showing up in full authenticity and, like you said, the fullest expression of yourself, balls out, like whatever that looks like, even if risking getting a drink thrown in your face, but to be like, yeah, I'm looking for somebody to, like, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, right. And when I think about the drinking, what was that about? Why did I get a drink? It was what she felt. Maybe she got cheated on her. I never found out, right? But it triggered something in her that all men are cheaters. And I was actually giving her the opposite of a cheating conversation because she couldn't even see it. For these guys that are talking about that feel like they have to pick between the two, what do you think drives that?
Scarcity. It's a scarcity conversation.
Say more.
We've been raised in a society where a lot of sexual preferences, specifically, I feel like specifically in this country, but generally in our culture, a lot of this stuff is muted and put to the side. Mm-hmm. It's not overly accepted and I don't know about, I'm sure in your space, yes. And in my space, yes, I hang out with people who are very open-minded, but as a general rule of thumb, it's not. And so, for example, if they're out at the bar with the boys, they can't talk about how they want somebody to peg them. Like, that's not a thing. They can talk to me about that, and they can talk to people on field about that because it's a super safe space. But they're like, there's a shame conversation also around some of these desires. Even doming, like even being a dom, although that's more gender appropriate, quote unquote, for Spotify listeners, I'm using air quotes, right? For a man to be a dom, that's like more stereotypical, right? But even that, they're not having those conversations day to day with people regularly. Mm-hmm. So they're not seeing it. They're not seeing how many people it is actually a thing for. Mm-hmm. And so there's this thought like, oh, well, this many people use, I hate the dating apps, but we'll use that. Like this many people use these and only a tiny fraction of people use these ones that are a little freakier. Uh-huh. My belief is that like everybody has got, not everybody, some people are truly, truly vanilla and that's wonderful. But most people have interest in exploration. It's just not talked about. And so what does it look like? You probably met people who were curious. Like, oh, tell me more. What is that like?
Oh, everybody starts somewhere. No one is just born with a whip in their hand, right? Yeah. So everyone, eventually you have to just kind of let all that go and just jump into it and see what's there for you. Mm-hmm. And I hear the limiting belief here that if I find someone who is like that, they're probably not wife material. Mm-hmm. But then what do you do when you meet someone who you think is wife material and you find out later that they are that way? Are you going to drop them? You're going to feel like that's not your person now because you want it to look a certain way. I think for me, it's when I'm listening to it, it's attachment. I think a lot of guys, I just did a label, mm-hmm. but I do see it more in men. We get attached to the order of operations that we thought things were going to go.
Yeah.
So for example, I have a friend who just ended a relationship that I don't think he should have ended, but he did. And it's because he felt that he needed to make a certain amount of money and then own the house. And he had to buy the house by himself. And if he didn't buy it by himself, it didn't count. And then find the person and then have the kids. And then it had to be her carrying it because otherwise it didn't count. And so life gave him the stuff out of order. It gave him the person who was awesome, who was willing to do that stuff with him, who was probably down to buy the house with him. Yeah. Now, right? He wants it 8 years from now, but it's in his face now, and he can't see it, so he's going to blow it up. And so many, hey, why have you been with this person for 5 years and not proposed to them yet? It's not because you don't know whether they're a person or not. There's probably something in you that's decided that you need to be at some level of like income when you proposed, that you wanted to own a house or you wanted the business to succeed. And I think life will give us what we're asking for, but we kind of decide it's not the right time. And so that's just like a form of attachment. And when I heard that it's got to be here or there, they're attached to a narrative. And I think that for men, we can blame like all these women and they're watching all these Cinderella stories. We're watching it too.
Yeah. Different versions.
We see it too. And in the Cinderella narrative, who does she fall in love with?
Prince Charming?
The prince. The prince. And then how much pressure do guys have to be like prince level in terms of like money and status and clout?
See, but I feel this is such an interesting topic because I feel so many men think that. They do. And I totally am aligned with what you're saying about process. Well, it's supposed to be this. I really believe that it's my job to change that narrative in a way, because the truth of the matter is, I bet your friend's partner who just got broken up with was more than happy to wait however many years it was going to take for him to make that amount of money. Like, actually, I know there's obviously, like you were talking about, the women who are set on marrying millionaire. That exists. But we live in a space with a lot of people who are working on themselves and healing. In my world and the people that I surround myself with, women aren't just like seeking out someone who is rich and is a certain kind of way. It's about the character of a human being. Yeah, yes, you should be like working on the best version of yourself, right? If I work out, I want someone who works out. If I'm fun, I want someone who's fun. If I want to travel, right? I get all of that. But I think about the provider thing a lot. That's a conversation that's huge on the internet. It's very polarizing, like, and protector. It doesn't mean you need to be a millionaire. It's an energy. And men are so literal, and I'm gonna say it because you guys are like performance driven, right? And so, right, I have to have this money so that I can be the provider that I want to be. The truth is, most men do, I think, want to show up like that. But women's energy, healed women, huge generalization, I'm going to say it anyways, the energy of a protector provider, or whatever we're saying here, right, having the things, having it figured out, is like, are you thinking about me? Are you concerned with like, oh, like, I need to make sure that did you eat today, right? Like I want to eventually be able to buy us a house, or like I want to like make sure you're set up because I love you.
But even in that, the provider is this attachment to what you're providing. And I think this is something that had to evolve in my relationship with my wife, where, you know, for the first 2 years we were together, we made about the same amount of money. Then I decided to build something, and I became like a net investor in the thing I was building. So I wasn't making money for 2 years. And I wanted to keep paying and like holding up my side of things. And my wife was like, it's kind of crazy. It's crazy for you to be supporting with the bills when you're also putting money into this thing, like a lot of money into this thing that you're building. So let me cover us for now. That was the ego conversation for me to run up against. I'm sure. Another ego conversation I had to run up against, where we get attached. When my wife wanted an engagement ring, she didn't want a diamond. She wanted a normal ass band. And I didn't know that ego conversation was going to come up for me. That when we got engaged and people wanted to see the ring, the amount of judgment I was going to feel coming up, even though I got her the ring she wanted.
But you want to be able to have like but that stuff just, it's like it goes in.
It goes in, and you won't, and it will fracture your ego along the way. So I want to be a provider. It's usually financially, but what I was missing was all the ways I provide for her in the relationship that have nothing to do with money. Yeah. And this is where a lot of men are getting kind of stuck right now, because a lot of women have done very well and don't actually need money. And I've met guys who will exit relationships with powerful women who make great money because they make less money than. So it's like, okay, then where are you going to go? So you're going to go find a woman that makes less money than you specifically? Like, that's your goal, so that you feel what about you?
Just to feel better.
Versus rising up. And I'm so grateful for my wife, because my wife actually gave me the space to take risks, the space to explore. And now what's happening in our relationship is the income starting to flip again. And who knows what's going to happen down the line, but I had to let it go. And it was tough for me with all the work that I've done. It was tough for me. So I get it. It's ingrained. Yeah. It's very deep in there. And people are already always listening through that lens. Yeah. So I acknowledge you. That's a really challenging conversation to break through.
It's been fun. It's been really fun. And I know we have a few minutes. I think we have some extra time since we started a little late. I do want to circle back and kind of like, exactly. To
the pen.
I wanted to finish up where we were talking about the pathway, right? And you were talking about the way, like, creating the expectation for yourself, the relationship that you want to build, and then breaking down how it has to look, and then
Yeah.
All the trial and error.
Got clear on the relationship that I wanted. Relationship. It was really short too. If I have a client and they give me a list of 20 things, I want it down to 5. What are the actual things you need in the relationship? I want the shortest, most concise list, because a lot of things on that 20 you can get somewhere else. What do you need from this relationship, right? Got clear on it. For me, it was 6 things. And then I went out, and when I was going on these dates, if I didn't experience all 6 coming from this person, I would just be a no. I was a no. It was clear for me. I want a relationship. If I'm not a hell yes, I'm going to be a no. Okay. Going through this process took me a few years. I go on this date with who's now my wife, right? Hit all 6, or she hit 5 out of 6. Right?
Okay.
She hit 5 out of 6, because the sixth one is the openness, and I don't know yet because I haven't had that conversation.
Okay.
But I was so into her, and she so clearly hit the other 5 that I almost didn't bring up.
Oh.
I almost didn't bring it up. It was easy to get in the drink thrown in my face by the person I knew wasn't the fit.
Of course.
But I think life will give you what you want, and it's like, we'll see.
Right.
Prove it.
Are you ready?
Prove it.
Totally. Jump.
So then it showed up, and it took me, remember I said within the first hour I'd have this conversation, it took me 3 hours.
Wait, what are the other 5?
It took me 3 hours. They're not as, it's not,
Okay, all right.
This one's way
Not
more
as
interesting.
fun.
This one's more, because the rest are things like, I wanted integrity.
Okay.
I wanted someone who lived a life of service and contribution. My wife's an OBGYN, so like her whole job is to be in service to other people, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I live a life of service also. So it was
3 hours in.
3 hours in. She's probably wondering why I haven't kissed her yet and all this stuff. We're on our 3rd date location. We've been like jumping around. I'm avoiding the conversation.
How long
I hope
ago
this is
is
interesting
this?
for people.
Yeah, it is. Of course.
This was 5 years ago.
This is what the people want, Brian.
This was 5 years ago.
People
5 years ago, and I was avoiding it, and all guys know this, like maybe all people, but I know all guys. It's like when you see the girl at the bar, if you don't go say hi, you will think about it for weeks. But if you go say the thing and she shuts you down, you're kind of over it immediately, right? You move on. You get mad at yourself for not taking the risk. So I just decided to go for it. I did the whole thing, and when I asked her what she heard what I was saying. Spot on, like listened it back. Okay, now I realize this person knows how to listen, knows how to communicate. And when I flipped it on her, what she met me with is how she always felt that she wanted to explore and never felt like she was allowed to in her past relationships. And so all she saw was the win-win. If you're saying I can get to know you and explore this side of me, why not? Yeah. Why not? And that's how the relationship started. But I felt like it was a test. Do you really want this thing? And then it's evolved from there. But for guys listening, or for people listening in general, but men especially, once you get clear, then go live it, because life's going to test you in it. And it's going to see if you're really about what you said. And I think as a guy, like I'd get really excited about that. It's your opportunity to prove yourself right. Yeah. We love being right. Right? But at some point it'll test you, and you're either going to stand for what you believe in and get it, or you're going to take the chicken shit exit.
Yeah. It's integrity. It's being who you say you are.
Which I said I want it in a relationship. And so how could I not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Say the thing.
I mean, that's it right there. That's the clip, baby. Like that is it. And it's not just with men. It's all people. I find it in myself all the time. If I say I want this thing and then the opportunity presents itself, what am I choosing? Because you're either moving, every single decision is either moving you closer to your vision or farther
away. And sometimes even though the decision is gone, people don't forget that you took the chicken exit. Can I give you an example? The reason why I bought the ring, I have a friend who helped me with ring shopping, and she wanted a band. But her husband bought her a diamond. And you know, she told me every time she looks at her ring, it's a reminder that he cared more about what other people thought than what she wanted.
It's heartbreaking.
I hope that doesn't go viral.
We can cut that out.
think you should keep
And
it in.
her
It's
name
hilarious.
is-
I'm not gonna say her name, but
Of
when
course,
she
of
said
course.
it, all right, I'm not gonna be that
Yeah.
person. What's more important, what my wife is asking for, or my ego?
Yeah.
You know, and the unfortunate answer is for most men, our egos have been more important.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that story. And also, I have to know how long of a journey between, okay, I'm crystal clear. I've made this list of 5 things plus the 6th, which is also very important, to meeting your now wife. First date with your now wife. How long was that process?
I'll be honest, it took a few years because I had to my
imagine.
journey required dating some of the wrong people. One time I dated someone who could have been the right person, just the wrong situation.
Okay.
And then after that, I dated the completely wrong person. Those 2 relationships helped me get even more clear.
Yeah.
So I think that's when it went from like 20 to 10 to, oh, these are the 5 or 6 things that matter the most.
Yeah.
Once I got clear from ending that relationship with the wrong person to finding my partner, took a month. Proposed to her in a year, was married 6 months later.
That's amazing. But I like that you said that. You're like, I'm going to be honest. Like, it does. I do think years make sense. Like, that is standard for people, right? And then once you're crystal clear, we've all heard stories of like the second I blocked that person that was not meant for me, that has been in my life for 3 years. And then
exactly. And the reason why I say the years part is because I don't want people to think, okay, I made my list. It's 3 weeks later, they're still not here. It's just a journey. You're gonna have to try some things and fail, and then you got to work that list.
Yeah. Well, and it shows the level of commitment, because if I'm living in scarcity a year in, it's easy to be like, you know what, fuck, maybe this isn't possible to find, right? And like the continuing to go, I can't tell you how many like people I've seen, like specifically with women, are like, do not settle because you're panicking that you're 32 years old. There are women who have met their person at 37, 38, 42. Like, it's not a thing.
Right.
I understand kids is a factor, but like, if you're really committed, be committed, you know?
I would say don't settle as long as the list is clear.
Yeah.
And it's what you really need. I don't know, when people say, I just want the minimum, I actually don't know. I don't really believe it.
Of course not. Who wants the minimum of anything?
But I hear this from people like, what am I looking for? I just want the bare minimum. No, you don't, because you'd be in a relationship already. Let's be real. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So as long as you're not settling, but you're clear and you're living up to what you say you want, great. But if you're not settling because you're waiting for the billionaire, then come on, like, let's really look at what's going on here.
Yeah.
So it just depends. Like, that word gets thrown around a lot. And the lens, like I said, the lens and the narrative behind it, I think is what's more interesting to me and more important to me. But yeah, I think that, so to your point, we actually need to get into this. Do I think everybody can get what they want? Yes. Do I think everyone's willing to put in the work for it? No. Yep. No. And I think what I didn't share, and maybe we can do a part 2 about this, is that, yes, so I had those 5 or 6 things that I wanted were there. But there were other things that we had to coach each other in. Ancillary things that had to develop in us to be together. And I think sometimes we look at it, and I'll give you an example. Do I want to say this on camera? Sure, why not?
You're already in it.
Why not? No, I mean, where I'm going to say, I know someone who is one of their judgments for whether this person's worth dating or not is how good sex is the first time.
Oh, wow.
It just is.
It's like a tough metric because...
It's a tough metric. Why?
Because for women, for all people, specifically for women, the more comfortable we are, the better the connection, the better we become.
This is a woman, by the way.
So I still stand behind what I just said. And no one's like 100% the first time. I think it's the same for men. Like, as the connection builds, everything gets stronger.
Right. It's almost like I'm looking for the guy who like immediately can figure out what I want without me communicating it, who can blow my mind, who can wow me. That can come over time. Sometimes you have to train people on how to be with 100%. You. So a guy could be eager and willing and able to perform, but the first time sucks, so you cut him off.
Yeah.
And life might be throwing you your people because you can't get over this shit, right?
Totally.
You kind of lose them. The opportunity there, I've actually had people who the first time I hung out with them, I thought it was really bad. But they were open to growing.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, like a month in, it's great.
Totally.
So
because the person they could have been with before, that was like that person's favorite thing or whatever. You don't know. They could have been in a relationship for 3 years where that was the norm.
We make it really hard, and then we're not unwilling to work with people.
Yeah.
We want them to work with us, but we can be unwilling to work with others. That's tough. So I think everyone can get what they want? Yes. I think we got to get over ourselves. We got to get clear on what we want, and then stop making it so hard on people when life is giving them to us.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. It's so good. All right, Brian, thank you so much. Brian Martinez, thank you for joining us today on Rants with Ren. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.